Hey everyone, Michelle here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my second ever book tag video. I haven't seen a lot of people doing this book tag, I'll be honest. I came across it on Google when I typed in book tag ideas. But yeah, I hadn't seen a lot of people doing this tag. I did have a quick search on YouTube and there was quite a few from recently, and there was like a big gap and it was from like 4 to 6 years ago. I couldn't find who had created this book tag, so if you do know who did, please let me know, comment down below or message me on Instagram so I can give them the credit they deserve, because I think it's a really cute idea for a book tag. So as you can tell, this book tag is all around the wonderful world of Goodreads. I'm not going to go into what Goodreads is because it does so many different things that I would be stood here for about 20 minutes explaining, and as you can tell from my reviews and my TBRs, I'm really bad at explaining things. So I will link Goodreads down below. I will link my profile like normal. Go have a click, go have a look around the website, because I find it a really good way of storing which books I have, which books I haven't got but want to buy, which books I pre-ordered, what books I've read in what year, what follows on in the next series, and I find it a really good way of managing my books that I have now up there, and the books that I want to buy, and the books I have read. I'm just doubling what I've already said here. There are a simple 11 questions on this book tag, so let's get straight into it. The first question on this book tag is, what was the last book you marked as read? And for me, that was The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. I love this cover. This is the prequel book, to the book Practical Magic. If you've seen the film with Nicole Kidman and Sandra Bullock, yes, that was based on a book. I didn't know that, but when I saw that was based on a book, in this book you follow the early lives of the ants in Practical Magic. So you follow them two, so it's Jet and Franny, yep, and then their brother Vincent. So I was really drawn to this book because I love the film Practical Magic and I really want to know more about the ants. I'm not going to give a review because obviously that will come in my September wrap up. But wow, I saw things and read things that I was quite surprised by. Question number 2 is, what are you currently reading? I don't know if this is technically a currently reading, as I've only read 6 pages and I've already forgotten what happens in them 6 pages. And that is A Wicked Magic by Sasha Lawrence. I'm holding it that way because I can't hold it that way, which is the way I'm reading it. It's bound that way. But if I hold it that way, which is normal, or the usual way, it's bound upside down, which is a lot of fun. So in this book, I read without the cover on when it's hardbacks. In this book you follow 2 best friends who find a way to make themselves witches, not realising there are consequences to each and every spell they use. I'm a witch type of girl, so it definitely was something that attracted my attention. But yeah, like I said, I am currently reading this book, but I'm only 6 pages in, so I can't really tell you what happens because, as I said, I've completely forgotten already. Question number 3 is, what was the last book you marked as TBR or to be read? Technically this isn't the last book I hold, but this is the last book that I added to the TBR list, and that is The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter. This is book 9 in a series, which I didn't realise until I put it as TBR on Goodreads, because unlike my other pre-orders, I forgot to add this on my pre-order list. I have had a quick look on the internet and it does seem like I can read this as a standalone. If I do enjoy it, I may go back and try and read the other 8 books. Not gonna say I definitely will because I'm rubbish at keeping promises like that. But yeah, it's a crime thriller type book. I can't quite remember, I'll be honest, what quite happens in it. But yeah, it's a thriller crime type book. I want to read more, and it has pretty pink sprayed edges. But yeah, I see a lot of people hyping this book, so I pre-ordered it. then added it on Goodreads and was like, oops, book 9. But Karen Slaughter is like such a well-loved author, so I have high hopes that I will enjoy this book because I do believe one of my sisters may read her. Eldest or second eldest, if you are watching this, can you text me on the family WhatsApp? Great. So question 4 is, what book do you plan on reading next? As with question 2, this is the same book, Wicked Magic by Sacha Lawrence, just because I don't technically class this as a current read because I'm not 10% into the book. And it is what I want to read next. So yes, I am planning on reading this book next. Question 5 is, do you use the star rating on Goodreads? Yes, is the simple answer. Yeah, I do. I hate the fact that I can't add half stars, but I do use a rating system. For myself, it starts at 5 as fantastic book, can't get it out of my head, absolutely love it. Yes, there may be some errors, but it stayed with me, I enjoyed it, love it. 4 stars, really, really good book. Some points that I didn't like, which may be plot points or writing points or characters, but mainly a really, really good book that I enjoyed, but not enough to give 5 stars. 3 stars, good book. Didn't really stay in my memory, could have been a bit better. Yeah, would I want to read it again? Yeah, probably not. 2 stars. I struggled through this book. I mainly didn't enjoy it, but there were literally 4 points that I liked, which for me are characters, writing style, plot or side plot, which is majority of the time side plot, or 4, I enjoyed the atmosphere. So yeah, 2 stars. 1 star. I forced myself through this book for no bloody reason. So for myself, 1 stars and 0 stars, technically I class as the same. I struggle through them, I didn't enjoy them. There may be one character that I liked, there may be a side plot that I liked, but really I am regretting forcing myself to read this book, and I wish I hadn't gone through with it. I also, technically while it's not a star rating, I do have a DNF shelf that I've recently created. I created this shelf purely because I realised I need to stop forcing myself finishing books that I'm not enjoying. There are currently only 2 books on there. I could technically have 2 more on there, but it was literally less than 10% of the way through the book and I was like, no. So yeah, that's my star rating system. I do use it. It could be better. I would like to have half stars. I would like there to be more than 5, to be honest with you, because sometimes I'm like, this book is phenomenal, I want to give it 10 stars, but there's 5. I would also like, on the star rating, and this is just being me being really, really picky, to not just have red stars. I want different colours, so like 1 star or 0, well 1 star can be black, 2 star navy blue, 3 star, oh you're in the orange I guess, and then 4 stars is like red, and then 5 stars is gold, or to even pick your own colours. That's just me though, I'm really weird like that. I actually, when I'm writing notes about when I've read the books, each book each month has its own colour, and that's just me. But yes, the short answer to my long rambling is yes, I do use a star rating system. Question 6 is, are you doing a reading challenge this year? Yes. Originally my reading challenge number was 55 books, just because I struggled to read 70 last year. But because of Miss COVID, I obviously was spending a lot of time more at home, not being able to go see friends or family, so I read more, as you do. And by the second week in July I'd reached 55 books. So I finished it really early. I didn't plan on increasing my number, and I said this on Instagram, I said this whoever asked me, I was like, no, I'm sticking to 55. I want to see how far I go over. And then I thought about it this week and I was like, you know what? Up the numbers, Michelle. You know what you're planning on reading the next couple of months. You know you've smashed it. You're probably going to do more than double. So yeah, give myself a bit of a pep talk and said, you know what, Michelle? It's stupid to keep it at 55. You know you're going to have smashed it. You're probably going to have doubled it by end of year. So let's see if you can do a little bit more than double it. So I have increased my numbers to 120. Scary thoughts. I'm currently on book 84, just about to start it, as you've seen. So according to Goodreads, I am one book behind schedule. Not panicking, if I'm being honest. I'm not pushing myself to reach 120. If I get between 110 and 120, I will be happy. If I get under 110, I will be a bit disappointed, just because I know I can reach that, just because of the TBRs I've got coming up. If I get over 120, can someone test me for witchcraft? Because I have no idea how that would have happened. Just because, I'll be honest, in the next few months is kind of like my busiest period in work, so I probably won't be reading a chapter or two at lunch. I may be working over, so I'll be more tired. I'm hoping this lockdown will lift a bit so I can actually go see friends and family. So that will take up some of my time. But yeah, my current reading challenge goal, 120. Fingers crossed. Your girl makes it. And yes, I can't really cross fingers well, but yeah, there you go. Fingers crossed. Question 7. Do you have a wish list? On Goodreads, yes. It's technically, my shelf is technically called To Be Bought. So it's reminding me that these are the books that you've had to buy, because I have the app on my phone. Now when I'm shopping and I go into a bookstore, I am pretty good at making sure that I only buy a book that is on my To Be Bought list. I also have 2 other wish lists. I have one on Book Depository and one on Amazon, and this is so I can share them with my friends for Christmas or birthday ideas. I know some booktubers do put their wish list in their description box. I personally think that's a little bit cheeky, so I won't be doing that. Yeah, so yeah, I do have a wish list. You can see it on Goodreads as To Be Bought, but I'm not going to share the genuine wish list, which is, what book do you plan to buy next? I haven't the foggiest idea, if I'm being honest. I do have some pre-orders coming, however I technically class them as already bought, so there's no real answer for this for me. I don't plan on buying any more books, just because of the ones I already have on my shelf and the pre-orders I've got coming. I think I'm going to have a lot, so I don't really want to overwhelm myself. Cut to me in about 2 weeks, I'm doing my book haul and I go, they got these from Waterstones that weren't pre-ordered. But yeah, that might change, because I'm actually planning on doing a little bit of shopping in town next weekend. I'm going for a Specsavers appointment. I need new glasses, so I am planning on going to Primark, and Primark in our town is literally about 2 minutes away from the Big Oxfam, which has like a whole top floor dedicated to books. Haven't been to a charity shop since last year. I'm a bit scared, but I want to kind of carry on with life as I would if this pandemic wasn't here. So yeah, my answer is, I haven't the foggiest, because I don't plan on buying a book until after Christmas, when I've seen what people have bought me for Christmas. But let's see if in my September book haul I am stood here going, these are the ones I got from pre-orders, and these are the ones that I got from Oxfam or Waterstones when I walked in, which may actually happen because I do have £10 on my Waterstones card. Yay! I have no self-control. If you speak to anyone in my family or friends, they will tell you the same. Question 9 is, do you have any quotes, and if so, what are they? I have them written down because I have quite a lot of quotes in my head that I remember from books randomly. But I'll be honest, I was like, yeah, I can just say this one and this one and this one, and then I was like, are they really quotes, Michelle? But there's two that kind of stick out in my head that I'm going to read them because I don't want to say them incorrectly. The first one is, I am no bird, and no net ensnares me. I am a free human being with an independent will, which I now exert to leave you. So that quote is from Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, and this is basically when Jane is saying to Mr. Rochester, you don't owe me, I'm not your creature, I am an independent woman, and I've now realised this and I'm going to leave you because I don't want to be a bird and trapped, which is I think what a lot of women feel. This does resonate to me because obviously a lot of people are still in the stereotype of, oh, when you're gonna, when you're gonna lose weight, Michelle, when you're gonna get a man, Michelle, do you want kids, you're not gonna get married. Do I have to do that? Do I have to follow what society has dictated women need to do? No, I'm not a feminist, I'm not going on a feminist rant, but yes, I would like to lose weight, and yes, I would like to meet that special someone. Am I going to go chase it? At this moment in time, no, because I'm happy in my life, and I resonate with Jane here because she's kind of the same. She's like, I'm not going to, conform to what you want me to do. And yeah, I never thought of Jane as like a feminist icon or someone to look up to be honest. But yeah, Jane has the right idea and I resonate with her. Moving on from Jane Eyre. So my second quote is, brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you go on even though you're scared. And this is from The Hate You Give by Angela Thomas. I'll be honest, I can't quite remember which part this is from, so I do apologise about that. But bravery and scared feelings has become quite a normal part of my life. More scared than brave. Just because a few years ago I was diagnosed with anxiety, and feeling scared is my best friend at times, and I do let it stop me. But then reading that quote is like, I never thought of myself as brave when I did certain things, and actually, yeah, I am brave. I am brave for, even though I'm terrified of flights, getting on that airplane and going to France with my best friend a few years ago, and he'll be watching this so you know exactly what I'm on about. I went there, I was terrified. He helped me through it, and I nearly broke his hands by squeezing his hand so tight, but I did it. Do I class myself as brave for that? No. But I like this quote. I may get this quote painted on a wall somewhere next time I have a panic or anxiety attack and I'm like, you're going through it, Michelle, you're brave. I'm not taking the mick on this book at all, because I think this book is fantastic and everyone should read it, but it did make me think a lot about myself and how I think of me in certain situations. And yeah, good book, go read it. So Hate You Give, I'll show you the cover. Yeah, so this is a Waterstones exclusive cover, I believe, so it's yellow and black. But The Hate You Give, Angie Thomas. Fantastic book. Everyone should read this book once in their life. Young, old, don't matter, read this book. Well, I say young. Probably around my eldest niece's age, which is going to be 13. Read. Such a good book. And kind of a good stepping stone to look into racism as a whole. Question 10 is, who are your favourite authors? Well, I could stand here and reel off about 20, but I won't. I'll be honest, I've just grabbed a couple off my shelf that I've read this year. There are more, I just don't have the books, so I don't want to say the names without showing you they're fantastic books. So, to start off with, I'll get the dust off it. Kerry Maniscalco, the author of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. and she has a new book coming out which is called The Kingdom of Wicked, I believe, if I remember correctly. Kerry writes YA, so young adult books, and this was a book where I fell in love with her writing. She was able to take a well-known gory story and change it, so while yes, you still have the important details, it was something that younger readers could read and get to know about. And she also gave an answer to who Jack the Ripper was in a quite good way. Yeah, it's probably people will be like, oh, I saw it coming, but do you know what, for me, as someone who loves history and hates the fact that we will never find out who Jack the Ripper was, let's be honest. If we do, and it's in my lifetime, I'll be amazed. But she was able to wrap it up in a way that I didn't see coming, which made me love her writing and made me want to finish this series and read more from her. And yeah, she's a fantastic author. The way she writes, the description she uses, the way she sets a scene in a way that you haven't realised she's setting the scene. Something I said in my wrap up for Capturing the Devil, I love the fact that she writes chapters where you think there's nothing important, but you still read it and you're still engaged, and then 10 chapters later you're like, hang on a minute, that links to that and that links to, and what? But yeah, fantastic author. My next favourite one, and another YA, is Karen McManus, the author of One of Us is Lying, the sequel One of Us is Next, Two Can Keep a Secret, and the next book is The Cousins, I believe. Karen, again, is a bit like Kerry, where her descriptions and her atmosphere setting is amazing. Another thing I love about Karen is that her characters are not black and white. They're not black and white, and it's not, oh, well, this one's a character that's mainly on the dark side but has a little bit of good, or mainly on the good side but has a little bit of bad. They're a mixture of everything. For me, I see her books as a good stepping stone for YA readers who want to read more thriller type books, and I would say that when I first read One of Us is Lying, it was around the time where I did start reading more thriller, mystery type adult books, and it actually made me like the genre more, so I wanted to read the adult books. But yeah, so Karen is amazing, and one thing I like about Penguin publishing her books in the UK is they all have really cool colours on the side. So the first book, One of Us is Lying, which is there. As you can see, the title is red, so it would have like red edges. One of Us is Next, blue edges, and Two Can Keep a Secret, which isn't part of the series, turquoise, it has turquoise edges. The Cousins, I've seen the title is gold if I remember correctly, so I'm hoping there is sprayed edges in the one I get, because I'd love it. I love the fact it's sprayed edges and it's like that, because I know if I walk into Waterstones into the teen section and I see a white spine with a cover that has like foily cover colours, I'll go, oh, Karen's book. Has she released one that I don't know about? That does happen, unfortunately. An author that I've recently just started reading is CJ Tudor. She writes like thriller type adult books with a supernatural kind of edge to it, but doesn't go totally into the supernatural element, which I love, because while I do love supernatural books, sometimes I'm like, mate, no, doesn't go. But yeah, CJ for me is like part of a group of authors where if I know she has a book coming and I think I don't even read the synopsis, it's straight pre-order. I think she may have a book out recently actually that I haven't pre-ordered, so if I do go to Waterstones on Saturday, might be the book I pick up. But yeah, it hooks me. She hooks me straight away, especially I think weaving the supernatural into this thriller type book, it grabs my attention. It's like, what is she on about? I'll be honest, I had about 6 different endings in my head reading this book. Then I read the actual ending and I'm like, huh? Where did that come from? Can someone tell me? But yeah, she's one of the adult authors that I adore. The next author is V.E. Schwab, or Victoria Schwab. I haven't read many of her books. I've read 4, I believe. But she definitely is more of the YA/middle grade author, I believe. Well, from what I've read, she might be a bit of a new adult as well. I'm not 100% sure. I started reading her because a lot of the book boxes that I follow, even though I'm not subscribed, were hinting at items that were to do with her series, or they were doing a special box, especially for A Dark Shade of Magic, which I know Illumicrate did a special box for. So I thought, you know what, so many people I know like it, I'll give it a try. And I loved it, but it was definitely her middle grade books, I can't remember their titles right now, which hooked me to her. Editing Michelle will probably pop in here now and go, Michelle, did you forget this book? Duh. Hey everyone, editing Michelle here. The Victoria Schwab book I couldn't remember was City of Ghosts. I think she published it as Victoria instead of VE to differentiate between the different ages it was aimed at. Don't quote me on that. I think I remember reading something about it. But yeah, City of Ghosts, great book. If my nieces like that kind of stuff, I would gladly buy it. Girlies, if you're watching, let Auntie Shelley know. Have a look for it. Let Auntie Shelley know if you want it. Santa Claus might have it in the bag for you, alright? Bye everyone. But yeah, she writes for YA in a way that doesn't treat the reader as someone younger, if that makes sense, where it's not a, yes, this is aimed at YA, yes, this is aimed at YA, but yeah, I'm not going to treat you as like a youngster. I'm going to write like it's for adults. And yeah, I think this actually may be shelved in fantasy in the bookstore. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, she's kind of like that author who is in the middle, where a bit like someone I forgot to take off, Kristoff, where books are loved by YA, well, books are kind of seen as YA, but like especially J is definitely like more adult than or NA, but it's loved by teens, by adults, by those in between, those who are adults like myself who still think of themselves as children. Yes, I am one of those, but they don't write like, well, you've not experienced a lot, so I'm not going to put this detail in there. It's like, no, here it is, all its details. Yeah, and I have to say, both these authors, their world building is out of this world, being honest. My next author is like CJ Tudor and another couple of authors that I won't mention because I don't have their books to hand, so I can't sell them to you. Katarina Diamond, another automatic buy. I adore this woman's work. The first book I have to say, the first thriller type adult book I picked up was by Katarina. It wasn't this one, it was The Teacher, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was Katarina who got me into the world of thrillers. I'll be honest, simply because it didn't look daunting, the first book, and I was like, it might be a good one to try. And I'll be honest, I got it in a charity shop, so it was £1. And I thought, it's not that much money wasted if I don't like her, but hooked. I was hooked. My sisters enjoy her writing as well, which I'm so happy about because it means I can share her with them. She has a series at the moment, and I can't, if I remember correctly, it's called the DS Grey series. It's DS Imogen Grey, and I can't remember who her colleague is. I can't remember because it's been so long since I've read a book in that series. But yeah, love her. Her books are descriptive and informative, but not in a way where you feel like the book is dragging you down and you can't read it quickly. I read The Heatwave, which isn't part of the series, it's standalone, I read it over 2 days, but I forced myself to read it over 2 days. Because, no, I tell a lie. I read this in one day. I was going to read it over 2 days, and then I got really tired, and it was the last day of August, and I wasn't sure if I would. I wasn't sure if I would read this in one day. Yeah. Katarina has a way of writing where it flows so quickly and smoothly that an hour's over and you look up and you're like, I've read so many already. And then it gets to 4 hours, like me, and I finish it and I'm like, oh, well, I started at 2. Must be about 8ish now. And then I look at the time and it's like, oh, it's 6. Not to say I rushed this, because there were a couple of chapters where I reread because I was like, have I missed a clue here? Especially with the ending. There were a few chapters where I went back and I was like, you laid them down. You laid the clues down so well that I didn't realise there were clues. But yeah, she is one of my go-to authors, and I hope she keeps writing for years. Final author I'm going to mention is someone who I love because they write about history for teens and pre-teens. And yes, it's not all factually correct, but it makes history fun. You all probably know who I'm on about. The Tower of Nero's his next book. Riordan. I loved the Percy Jackson series. I absolutely fell in love with it. I picked up Percy Jackson in a time where I was starting to fall out of love with history. If I remember correctly, it was my last GCSE year, or it was my first A-level year, where school took that turn of, we're not just telling you the facts now, or we're not giving you these different theories. You're ripping it apart. And you're looking at every minute detail, and then you've got to reform it. Not in the way you know it, but you're going to reform it in a way that's totally different, which I don't like about history. I'll be honest, I just like reading it and knowing the facts, or having the theories, and instead of being told you've got to now decide, it's go with what you want to go. And Rick did that for me with Greek gods, who, I'll be honest, I knew a little bit about, not a lot. And Percy for me it brought me back into the love of history. So I read Percy Jackson, the first 5. I read Heroes of Olympus. He's obviously now finishing the Apollo series. He's wrote the Egyptian one, the Red Pyramid, the Kane Chronicles. The first book I read in this series, I want to carry it on. He has also wrote a Norse mythology, I believe, Magnus Chase. I do want to read that, but he doesn't monopolise the history. He has kind of like a mini publishing company time sector, where I think it's like Rick Riordan Presents, and it's like own voices history telling, where it's someone who, if it's like Mexican history, Rick's not wrote it, it's someone who is like it's a Latina person, or Latino, or Latinx, I think it is, writing it about themselves. And he's giving these small authors who you probably wouldn't have thought about picking up the book a chance to experience this massive audience. I'll be honest, there have been a couple of books in that series, and I'm like, that publishing that, I'm like, I really, really want to read that. The only reason I haven't is because for myself, I want to kind of move out of the younger ones. Doesn't mean I'll never pick them up. I will, because anything this man reads or recommends, I'll be picking up. But it's just not high on my list, so I don't want them on the shelves just there, you know, not doing anything. But Rick, I know the Percy Jackson films disappointed a lot of people. They disappointed Rick. I'm so happy Percy Jackson is getting another chance for the Disney Plus series, and Rick announced yesterday that the Kane Chronicles is being developed by Netflix. I love Netflix. I think they do such good versions of, such good adaptations of books, YA books especially. To All the Boys I Loved Before, I'd never heard of that book. Then I watched the movie and I was like, I need this book, and I read it and I liked it. So I'm really, really looking forward to what they do with this. I believe Rick is going to be involved in both series as much as possible. With the Percy Jackson movies, he didn't really have that much input. With the series on Disney Plus, he's helping write it. If I remember correctly, I think it might be the same for the Kane Chronicles, which I love. I love getting kids, not even kids, I love getting people into history. I do. I love it. My niece didn't like Percy Jackson when she read it. I got the books back. I'm hoping she will be a little bit like me, where when she's a little bit older, she might be like, you know what, yeah, I'll give them a try again. You're probably watching this. This isn't Auntie Shelley's way of pressuring you to read them. Okay? It's just what I hope. No pressure. If you don't, I will still love you as much as I do now. Okay? Well, there are other things we can bond over apart from Percy Jackson. If you do pick them up again and you like them, I'll buy your own series. But yeah, my last favourite author for the moment is Rick, and looking at the mobile, I have been muttering about Rick for about 3 minutes, and all the authors for 18. Could you imagine if I had more authors? Last question, I promise. The last question is, have you joined any groups? Yes, not many, but I always forget the names, so I have them wrote down. I have joined. I've joined 3. No, I've joined 4. That's bad. So I joined the Fairy Loot Club, which hasn't been active for 2 years, I believe. I've joined the 2020 Reading Challenge, where I posted for 3 months and stopped. I'm part of the BookTube group, which I joined about 4 years ago, haven't posted yet. I'm scared to explore. Don't ask me why. And I'm also part of the mystery, crime and thriller group. Again, I don't post, but I do get ideas of books to read. I do want to join more clubs. What clubs? I have no idea. If you are part of a Goodreads club and you think I might enjoy a club, suggest it. I'm always here for suggestions. There probably is a Rick Riordan one on there that I haven't realised that I need to join. But to me, I haven't looked in depth on Goodreads. I'll talk about that in my wrap up. But yeah, I've only part of 3 groups at the moment. I want to join more. Suggestions welcome. Well, question 11 is the last one. There is like a 12th bonus question, which is, are there any questions you would like to add? No, because I'm rubbish at thinking of questions. So yeah, question 12 doesn't exist for me, and that is all 11 questions in the Goodreads book tag. I enjoyed this one, and it made me think about how I use Goodreads a little bit, and how I'm kind of not utilising it to its full advantage. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like Goodreads for very good reasons. If anyone does have an alternative to Goodreads that you think I might like, let me know, because I would like to look at it. I know people are always suggesting it on book Twitter, but I have a love-hate relationship with Book Twitter, so that's all I'm going to say as to why I've not tried them. But yeah, I enjoy this book tag. Gonna have to do a bit more research to see if there are any other book tags that I would like to do. If you think of any that you think Michelle might be good at this one, or I'd like to know her opinion on this, comment down below, let a girl know. As normal, any hints or tips for filming or editing, down below. I will have my Goodreads profile and my Instagram handle in the comment section down below as well. Come give a girl a follow, especially on Goodreads. I'm nowhere near the friends limit, so I will accept. Always love to nosy at what people are reading, and if they think the same as I do for book series or books that I've read or want to read. And that's the end of this video. I've just realised the phone's vibrated, shaking because I'm leaning on the ironing board. Do apologise. But yeah, until next time, bye.